Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Noah. I'm the Bookworm, and I'm here joined by Ven from Ven's Book Corner.
The Chaos Gremlin himself.
Yes, the main one, the tall one.
I mean, I'd argue I'm average height and you're small, but there we go.
We're doing the chess tag that we were tagged in by the Ginger Biblical.
What he's trying to say, because English is apparently not his first language, is cat over at Ginger Bibliophile.
Thank you very much. Who tagged us in it about, what, 2 weeks ago-ish?
It was a week. Well, it'll be 2 weeks ago when it goes up, yeah.
Yeah. And we decided to do this in two parts. So over at Ven's channel, it's going to be the part one for the first couple of questions. And here is part two on my side. So we thought we'd jump people around just because we can.
Because apparently we're a nightmare together.
Yes, Kat said we are Chaos Goblins.
Goblins? You added a G in there.
I added a lot of letters in there. I was hoping you wouldn't notice or call me out, so thank you.
I'm going to call you Ali G from now on because...
Don't you dare. No.
Where are we up to, Noah?
We're up to question 4. Bishop.
Question 4.
Yeah, a book that features religious characters or members of a church. Bonus points for a bishop. We'll go with you first.
Okay, I don't know if I can class the bishop. Where have I put it? There it is. So, as you call me out for cover buys, this was a cover buy. And was my second favourite book of last year. This was the one that made me most angry last year for good reasons. Hell Followed With Us.
Yes.
So this is a debut novel by Andrew Joseph White. And this is set in a... It's a dystopian future after humanity has been wiped out by a man-made plague that was inflicted on the world by an extremist fundamental evangelical church. And there's still some survivors around. You've got blighted monsters around that are basically mutants that have turned into piles of teeth, bones, and flesh that eat people, amongst other things. And the last of the sort of the religious nut jobs, they're like New Jerusalem settlement or whatever it's called, and they want to finish off everybody else that's in the world so they can inherit the earth, for they are the meek. And the main character is Benji, who is transgender, female to male, and they were infected by their own mother, who was the head of the church, so I would argue a bishopess. Bonus points.
Okay.
With a special strain of the virus to turn them into something called a seraph, which is obviously a play on seraphim. And they're going through the slow bodily transformation into this blighted, monstrous, angelic hell demon. And this story made me so angry. Anyone who knows me knows that my opinion on religion is not especially high at the best of times. Not the same as spirituality, which is very different.
Oh, extremely different.
So I just don't like the organisation that is religion. The beliefs doesn't overly bother me. Kind of. But this book, within the first 5 pages, made me furiously angry at the treatment of the main character. And that's within 5 pages, and it didn't let up at any point all the way through. I wouldn't even say this has a happy ending. It doesn't have an unhappy ending, but he's still infected with this disease that's uncurable. He's still got bits of him literally melting off over time. It's...
Oh, wow.
It's a YA, which shocks me because of how gruesome it is.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, this is what I would call older YA. This is what I would call true YA, of like 16 plus. Because I know there's a bit of a grey area what age rating YA is technically marketed for, especially here in the UK where we don't grade stuff quite the same. So YA here starts at 13.
Yeah.
So you do have quite a spectrum. This is very much the top end of that. This author is a must-read author for me now. Like, straight from this book. There's the fact that this has a reading group guide in the back as well for guided discussions and questions as well. I really like to help get people to talk about some of the analogies in the book as well. I just think that this is an amazing piece of fiction. You need to be in a very specific headspace to read this.
I
But
think
that's my call.
reading
Not
something
one
like that
for
for
you.
me, yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it would mentally like mess
Yeah,
me up. As being like transgender myself, I'd be like,
Yeah, it's
bit too close.
yeah, it's horrific, and the author themselves does acknowledge this, and actually
Yeah.
does say at the beginning of the book, it's in his one. It's like, this is going to be in this like this. This is what it's talking about.
Mm,
Just beware.
yeah.
So,
Oof.
well, that's mine. That wasn't. I had a lot of choices for religion. I thought I'd go for my most extreme version in that one.
Why not? It is you.
The other option was Dungeons and Dragons, of which I have lots of options.
I mean,
so,
that's true. Can't go wrong with Dungeons and Dragons.
I mean, it depends if I'm playing the game.
That's true. We don't talk about that. You break things.
I enhance the experience.
Yeah.
But what was yours?
Mine is Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft.
Okay.
As I'm a huge Lovecraft nerd. Like, it's one of the
Yes.
main things that got me back into reading when I was like in my 20s and stuff, and it was one of the first things I picked up. Not this book specifically, but yeah, so this one, it talks about, it's basically a narrator telling the story of how his uncle or someone in his family died, and he got basically a chest kind of delivered to him, and as he opens it, it's got all these things that his uncle's, as he was a sailor and stuff, things that he's found and grabbed along the way, and it's all this stuff to do with like this cult. And eventually, as he's reading it and learning things and doing his own sort of research, he learns about the cult of Cthulhu. Obviously, cult is religion, so I classed them in the same boat. And Cthulhu is a high priest.
If I remember correctly, you know better than me, but I remember bits because I've not read it all. I remember that he isn't an old god. He is a priest to the old gods, is how I remember
He is part of he is an old god, but he's also a high priest.
Kind of a seneschal, then. I suppose.
Yeah, the best way to say it. He's known as being an old god. Depending on which one that you read and where you go into Necronomicon, things kind of change a little bit, but originally he was an old god. But there's also things in that are also known as the old gods. So it's backwards and forwards, really.
Yeah, I've not read it all yet. I go through and pick out random stories in no form of order.
I mean, it doesn't have to have an order. It's
No.
there if you want it. Some stories do have an order where they kind of connect in, but it's rare and far between.
Yeah.
Queen, a book with a strong female character.
This one's you first.
Ooh, I was gonna go with Eve Dallas from Naked in Death, written by J.D. Robb. She had a traumatic childhood that she kind of blocked some of the memories out of because it was fucked, and she decided to become a detective to do with like murders and shit, and it's just a really strong character. While yes, she had something traumatic, it does kind of rely on that a little bit. It just shows that how strong she is because she deals with stuff that would trigger so many people, and she's just like so focused and just like, you know what, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this person.
That's one you've recently reread as well, isn't it?
It is. I read it first. The first time was like early 2000s. Wait. Yeah, no. It wasn't early 2000s. It was like 2012 or something like that.
I was going to say, you're not old enough for it to be early.
No. I was still... No, it was 2012 when I first read it, and then I lost the book because I started reading the series, and then I decided to start reading it again. I remembered when I was reading it why I loved it so much, especially with the writing.
How many books are there in the series now?
Fucking like 60 or something like that. She's just released a new one.
Oh, God.
And also the fact that they've changed the fucking covers from matte to gloss, I hate.
Yeah, we might have to do a conversation about covers at some point.
I'm down.
To do with books. So mine. So I need to make an admission here.
Oh no.
I'm going to get beaten up for this. I don't like reading strong female characters as much as the male ones because
I guess it's point of view.
No, it's not that. I expect better of them, and I shouldn't. So I tend to be more picky of their.
Wait, what do you mean you expect better? This is going to open a whole can of worms. Go on.
No, because I will. I expect a man to make stupid decisions.
Okay.
I don't expect. I expect more competency. So when a female strong character does something that feels like a plot convenience, it feels like it sticks out more than for me.
I feel like it depends if a man or a woman's written it, though.
No.
Really?
I have a very easy example of this.
Is this going to be a Court of Thorn and Roses?
I mean, all Throne of Glass.
Oh, shit.
I would actually argue, and this is why I didn't pick Selena Sardothian.
Oh, well done on saying that. I could not say that name.
Or maybe it's Selenia, I'm not sure.
I thought it was the that one, yeah.
I think it's the first one. But she is incredible. She's very, very competent. She's shown as clever, competent, intelligent, and then makes the most dumb decisions she could possibly make that's so out of character. And it never quite sits right with those characters, bizarrely as it does with male characters. Now, that being said, so I've gone for a character that I don't actually like. I don't think she's a likable character at all, but she's really well written and she is very, very strong. And that is from The Cruel Prince, and it's Jude. So Jude is the female lead in this one. She was taken from her family as a child. She's human living in the Fey realm. And so she has a number of disadvantages because of this, because, you know, it's the Fey realm. Humans are very susceptible to magic, so over time she's had to learn survival instincts to survive at the Fey court, especially when her father, inverted commas, who kidnapped her and killed her own family, which there is backstory for that as well, is like the High General at the High Court, so like the most senior military person. But she wants the power for herself, she's smart, she makes proactive decisions. She is a very well-rounded character. She's not likable because she's so ambitious. But that's fine in itself, because nobody in this book is particularly likable, because, again, it's the Fae. They're meant to be capricious and difficult to predict and a bit amoral in a lot of regards, and her character being all those things makes sense from 15 years living there. And you see it, especially in the first book, and you see it a little bit in the second book. You can see where her judgment is flawed, but the flaw makes sense. It's never that she does something that's out of character, it's just a misjudgment of an idea that kind of made sense with the information that she had. Rather than, oh, this is a terrible idea, let's just do it. Like, you know, telling people that... telling the captain of the King's Guard in another book that you've not been committing the assassinations the King's told you to do, and actually letting them go. Just because you have romantic feelings for the person who is loyal to the King doesn't work. And then you wondered why he went, oh no, I have to tell the King. Which he didn't do. But that's not the point.
Okay, I was like, no.
There's some really... Yeah, that's a me thing. I'm going to get absolutely leathered for that.
I'm probably.
I know I am. But, you know, it's a bias. It is a bias on my side.
You're weird.
So, it is weird.
I didn't expect that, to be honest.
Well, bear in mind, I read a lot of fantasy, and it's only in the last few years, really, that you've had the female main characters. And quite often when male writers wrote main characters, not great.
Yeah.
So, and to be fair, when they write male main characters, it's also not great. So I'd been conditioned to expect better, which there are plenty of better examples. I can't remember the name of the characters, but Trudy Canavan's Black Magician.
Yes, I loved that series growing up. Yeah,
Priestess of the White series as well are both very, very good. It's very good.
I'll have to.
Not quite as good, but it's very good. Very, very good main characters. The other option would have been Violet Sorrengail.
I was originally going to pick her.
Yeah. Because again, you have this character who is shown to be competent but not infallible. If you show me that somebody doesn't fail, or tell me someone's not going to fail, and then they keep failing, it takes away that belief. Whereas a character like that is shown flaws and all. Yeah. So she'd be another example of a decent, strong female character.
So fucking strong, like.
Yeah. even if the romance got on my nerves a little bit.
Oh,
Especially
really? I mean, you're not a romance sort of person, though, are you? You don't read romance.
no, that's your thing.
Shut up.
I will say nothing further.
So, the last question, technically, is King a book about a monarch or ruler?
Okay. This is a bit of a sideways step. And actually, this was originally going to be my strong female character. But I didn't want to include the same book twice.
Same for me when it went on mine, by the way, but go on.
Yeah. So it's Weird Sisters by Terry Pratchett. Now, I would like to add that this is an old book, and I am not solely responsible for the state of it. This is a play on... Is it Hamlet where you have the witches? Or is it Macbeth? I can't remember.
Macbeth is.
Macbeth.
Yeah.
So it's a play on Macbeth. Where you have the murder of the monarch right at the beginning, you have the lost child, you have all that, and you have the witches being the good person. The whole idea of this, because it's Discworld, is magic is seeped into the land naturally anyway, and the land is actually physically tied to royalty. So as the usurpers take over, the land itself begins to suffer. And you have like this coven of witches who are promising to not get involved until they get run off the road by a cart because people had lost respect for the witches because of the kings. Where Granny Weatherwax just goes, not having this, and just fast forwards the entire kingdom forwards in time 10 years to make sure that the king can come back. Not knowing he's the king, he doesn't know any of this.
Oh, wow.
He's very much a reluctant king. And the whole idea of the king needing to be someone who cares for not necessarily the people, because there was an admission here that kings not always good for the people, but sometimes good for the kingdom, is a really interesting dynamic. And the idea of the kingmaker's idea as well, of who really controls the strings of power, is really interesting. It's also, I would argue, arguably the best Discworld book to start with.
Oh, wow. You have been trying to get me to read it, though, for a while as well.
There's a few different entry points. I think if this isn't the first Granny Weatherwax book, you can safely ignore the first one because there's some variation between book 1 and 2 in her sort of series in terms of personalities. But the idea on her point of view that she really is the power of the kingdom. Really, she just doesn't really brandish anything, but she is one of the most powerful magic users on the planet. But she keeps herself in check as well. So although it's like adjacent to the idea of king of the kingdom, you've got this super powerful witch who can literally do nearly anything, but believes in balance. So it's not in this book. I think it's in... there's a play on... I can't remember. I think it's called Masquerade, which is based on Phantom of the Opera. And the idea... and she catches a blade with her skin, with her hand, and it doesn't cut. And everyone says, it's like, you turned your skin to steel, and she's very dismissive of, well, we all know you can't do that. No magic can do that. And then she goes home, her hand isn't cut, and all she's done is delayed the effects because she's got to still pay the price for that moment of magic because everything's got to stay in balance.
Oh, damn.
So, yeah, it's...
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, but Weird Sisters is amazing. It's only, it's 300 pages.
Oh, that's not a lot.
It's not a lot. It's not a massive book. My youngest, no, he's not read it. My middle one, who's 14, has just read it recently. She was curiously surprised by it. Although it not having chapters was a bit of a shock for her.
Yeah.
Which could always be a thing. But who was your Monarch one? I think you're excited about this one.
I am, can you tell?
Yeah, because you've been trying to get me to read it for...
I need you to read it. Even Jenny has gotten this book to read, and it's Feybound by Sarah L. Rifi. Oh, it's my first ever Fey fantasy that I've ever read. It's so good. So, the main character is actually named Wyrm, but she's not like the ruler at all. She's just like this sort of like soldier more than anything. But there's this whole thing to do with different races, with elves and fairies and humans. But fairies basically are extinct, and they're kind of like these nightmare tales for young kids, and that's always told about. And at some point, they kind of realize, not quite like a story or a fairy tale as they told us when we were little. And she meets someone named Fury, who is technically a princess, and she's extremely strong and extremely there for the people until, you know, things kind of go chaotic and she becomes queen. But a little bit of a love interest, but there's so much anger and hate there, and it's like it makes sense for that to be there.
And that's a book 1?
This is book 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Book 2 is not out yet, is
It's
it?
not, and I've literally been like, when is the next one? Give me something. Nothing. Silence.
Yeah, I think I will pick that up eventually.
You're gonna do it when there's a book 2, aren't you? And it's gonna absolutely destroy me because
No. What I will do is I actually want there's another cover version of it.
Oh yeah. The
which
cover's
is blue.
gorgeous though.
The cover's beautiful, but the cover version that I've seen is actually blue rather than the oranges that one is. Yes, it's orange. Yes, I know you can't see it. But it's like instead of those, it's like an electric blues and darker blues on it's the same design.
Yeah.
It's just I prefer that color palette. I like blue on black anyway, so it has got nice maps.
Oh, the maps are gorgeous.
It does have nice maps.
It does.
Maps make a book.
They do. I have to agree with you. Like, there's some books that I've not talked about that they've got like different sort of like mixed media in there of like graphs and other things. I love when books do that because it just adds this whole level. And when there's a map as well, it's like
it helps you to orientate you. Well, it probably doesn't help you because you can't read a map, but it helps you in video games. It helps orientate yourself in the world so well.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one.
Recently, that had a really good map in it. I've read something recently that had a really, really good map in it, and I can't think what it was.
Iron Flame, Dragon Riders.
No, Dragon Riders did have a good map in it though. To be fair, but there's something else. I don't know. I've read that much in the last couple of months.
Right then.
Ridiculous, but that's it. Now, in terms of tags,
yes,
I'm not planning on tagging anyone specifically because I lose track on who's done what tag.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we would love to know if you do this tag, what your answers would be, and if you would tag us in your description so we can come and check you out.
Please.
So, yes, because we have nothing else to do than watch YouTube videos or read. We need to break up the monotony.
We really do.
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But thank you for letting me bully you on your channel.
It's alright. Thank you for bullying me in both our channels.
And then exposing myself horribly. But hey ho. Awesome.
Anyway, thank you for watching part 2. Definitely check out part 1 on Ben's channel, and we will catch you all later. Links to everything is down below, to his channel, his video, and all that jazz, and also Discord. Peace.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.